Hello everyone, we are Team Maya, and we are a team of 4 people who come from 4 different cultural backgrounds. And we cherish culture from those backgrounds. But me personally, I cherish beauty. I'm pretty sure you guys do too. And so, where does culture and beauty meet? Well, for us, that's luxury wellness. Luxury wellness is a sentiment, well, the growth of luxury wellness is not only something that we share, it's something that everyone shares. As we can see, there's a 38% increase in the last 10 years alone. And a small part of that, the natural and organic skincare, personal care, is also expected to grow. But why is that? Now, we found out that consumers are willing to pay more for sustainable products. Over 1/3 of global consumers would want to pay more for sustainable products, and 85% of consumers would even pick sustainable products over cheaper alternatives. But who can capitalize that? Well, we believe Forest Essentials can fully capitalize that because it's a company rooted in culture and tradition with irreplaceable quality in their products and luxurious stores that give you great experiences and have you leaving with chemical-free, cruelty-free, pure, natural, holistic ingredients in their signature quality items and their amazing fragrances. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Kenzie.
My name is Andrew.
I'm Rahil.
And I'm Emerson. With the global stage set for Forest Essentials, the only question we ask is, where to now? So now we will be presenting to you guys the most strategic avenue for Forest Essentials to lead them to their market cap, international market cap. We'll showcase this in a 3D process. Discover, design, and deliver. To start off, we ask, what is the most effective way for Forest Essentials to jumpstart their international expansion? We will first discover the facts, then design a well-tailored solution, and finally deliver a well-comprehensive solution. We'll deliver a well-comprehensive solution. Now let's start with discovery. So when choosing the right demographic, you ask, there's no point in making without, but let's live with it. What is our current Forest Essentials consumer look like? It is someone who chooses natural products, has purity-based trust in Ayurveda, has taste for luxury, indulgent luxury, enjoys in-store experiences, and considers quality before price. Most importantly, considers quality before price. The 3 key aspects of Forest Essentials are luxury, culture, and quality. With all that said, here's our target profile. She is a 25 to 65-year-old woman who is driven by quality purchases, enjoys premium luxury items, and values foreign cultural traditional practices.
Thank you, Emerson. But now we've identified our target consumer, let's find it. Now we have a key qualifier, and that's the percentage of Indians in their respective country. But why is that, you may ask? Well, Ayurveda is intrinsically Indian, and we want a country that has familiarity with the Indian people, Indian culture, and best of all, Indian brands. And we feel that if Forest Essentials enter those countries, it will seem more approachable and generally better for the whole company as a whole. And now, here is the statistic. We nailed it down to 10 countries that have the most Indians in them. Now from that, we can't only say that the amount of Indians will justify everything, right? There has to be other qualifying factors, such as their openness to foreign cultures, their high disposable income, their huge spending or focus on spending on high and luxury brands, and also the focus on sustainability, holistic wellness, and the low price sensitivity. It all goes hand in hand. Now, let me take you into the matrix, where we put out 5 countries we think has the highest potential for Forest Essentials: the United States, Canada, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, and Malaysia. Now, from this matrix, we can see a clear winner. United Kingdom, it's all green. But as Morpheus said in the Matrix, I can only show you the door. It's up to you to go through. And where specifically? London, Bristol, Manchester, and Glasgow. Let us hold your hand as you go through the door into the stores that has Forest Essentials in high metropolitan cities with people with high disposable income to spend on your luxury brand. But let's put more ways in it, right? In the UK, over 80% of consumers are willing to pay 10%. We already established that they want to pay more, but in the UK specifically, 10% more. And they have low price sensitivity. This is a graph that shows the price sensitivity for these range of products, but as you can see from the red highlight, that the UK particularly has the lowest price sensitivity when it comes to skincare products. But then you might ask, okay, if this is public knowledge, there must be competitors, right? Well, we have a market position for that. We measured up with Aesop, Oskia, Lush, other existing UK luxury cosmetic brands that already exist. And we found that Force Essentials positioned itself where we put a heavy emphasis on healthy ingredients and use a strict purist method of production. And add on to that, we have to also address current trends, right? Well, there has been a policy recently made, the Windsor Framework, that estimates trade between the UK and Northern Ireland easier. Less checks means a potential to expand to Northern Ireland if we choose to do so. We also retain a large consumer base. The UK is expected to grow at 4.1% higher of a pace compared to other Western European countries. And then more people in the UK are getting connected. There's been a policy that enforces the establishment of high-speed internet in the homes of many UK residents, existing and needed. But after we've seen all this, let's look at our solution.
Exactly. So Kenzie's provided us the essential foundation for our strategy, but let's really get into what that strategy is. What we want to do is take a three-pronged approach. Flagship stores and salons, they're going to be our brick-and-mortar institutions where people can really experience the luxury that Force Essential brings to them. Second, we're going to do an all-hands-on-deck essential major go-to market promotional campaign with our previously established partners in Sephora. And finally, we're going to boost our online presence. Already the online retail industry we have capitalized on, and we want to make sure we go all hands in through digital media, social media, website ads, and search engine optimization. When you search up Ayurveda on Google, the first thing that should come is Forest Essentials. So to expand on our flagship stores, we don't want them to only be a showcase, but we want them to have in-store salons as well. That provides us with a high salon to product conversion rate. It allows us to employ knowledgeable stylists, and it really incentivizes repeat customers who want to get their hair and skincare done over and over again. Well, in the back we have the salon, but in the front we also want to have our showcases. I know you've probably been to an Aesop, a L'Occitane, maybe a Lush. We want you to go in and try our products. We want you to wash your hands with our soap and see how it feels. Moisturize your hands and see how that feels. And who's going to walk you through all of that? Well, we're going to have tailored service professionals who are highly informed representatives that will give you the pampered assistance you need, point you in the right direction for what your needs are, and even the needs of the people you're looking out for, and provide you personalized gift packaging. Let's take a look at those salons a little more in depth and to why we chose that. As you can see here, over 60% of men visit the salon once a month, and over 50% of women visit the salon every 8 weeks. And what's the magic of that? People trust their salon stylists. It's one of their highest motivators to buying products. When you go in and your haircut is finished and they ask if you want product, depending on the touch, feel, and the smell, right there and then you've made your decision and your intent if you want to buy or not, and we exactly hope to leverage that. And this is what we want our stores to look like. Luxury on the inside, luxury on the outside. This is a Veda whose format we really love. They have their products front and center, and in the back they have an ongoing, bubbling salon that is using those products firsthand. Now we're going to move on to our Sephora partnership. This is going to be the bulk of our marketing. We're going to give Sephora exclusive distribution. The only other distribution will be from our own retail and online stores. And what this will do is give us access to Sephora's plethora of marketing aspects. Their digital social media and traditional marketing campaigns will give them creative control on how they view our brand. And this in turn will give us access to Sephora's influencer program, otherwise known as the Sephora Squad, which is their network of influencers and celebrities that can add further credibility and further brand awareness to Force Essentials in this new market. Finally, For the in-store shopper at Sephora, we're going to provide Sephora and Forest Essentials bundles. I don't know if you've been into a Sephora, but they have a health and wellness section in one area where we're going to put all of our products, but they really love to capitalize on mini goods by the register. One of their largest markets is having customers wait in line through this little maze where they have little try-ons and little additives that you can add, and we hope to leverage that as much as possible. You know why? Because Sephora's customers are loyal, open to new brands, and consistently purchase skin and hair care products. 80% of Sephora sales are from loyalty program customers, and 71% of those buyers tried a new product in 2022. And of those buyers, they were buying 64% facial skincare, 58% hair care, and 54% makeup. This is what we want it to look like. Sephora x Forest Essentials on the right, exactly what we're looking at. And the Sephora squad right here, we seek to leverage and represent our brand in the light that will best suit us in the UK. Finally, for our online retail, we already have an established online retail presence with 30% of our UK sales coming from e-commerce. And in fact, 20% of cosmetics are sold online globally, and that's exactly what we hope to do. Wherever there's not a Sephora or a Forest Essentials branch, we want to make sure that you still have that availability of Forest Essentials and Ayurveda and its culture at your doorstep. Finally, we want to drive digital culture. As we said earlier, Ayurveda is rooted in culture and tradition. 4 of us from 4 different cultures, we know how much that means to us. So when trying to maintain the integrity and authenticity of something like Ayurveda, it is more than important to make sure that comes through in our online presence with social media posts that educate people. They show people what our packaging is like, and they use influencers that give hands-on reviews and store walkthroughs, showing what Forest Essentials and Ayurveda is all about. Finally, we want to make sure our UK customers feel connected to our products. We want our culture and their culture to intersect. That's where we're going to bring in personalization through customizable gift packaging, soap engraving, and personalized messaging. But this is all great and fun, and strategy is wonderful to talk about, but we really need to stress how we can bring that to life.
Thank you, Rahil. So yes, while this idea may seem all sounding good, we need to make sure that it's implementable and we can measure its success. So from a little bit of research, we found that a near competitor of ours has a growth rate of just over 8%, as well as a 3% return on their flagship stores. This competitor is Locatone, which is a high-end French skincare retailer, and it's very similar in overall operation to Forest Essentials. We'll be measuring a number of key performance indicators, KPIs, in order to measure our success. We'll be tailoring them to customers and financials. Some examples include revenue generated and customer acquisition cost, along with customer satisfaction and time spent in stores. There are some risks that we need to talk about, but we feel that they're largely mitigated. These risks include other competitors and a large initial financial investment. However, we believe with Forest Essentials already existing 30% revenue base in the UK, as well as its strong brand identity, which focuses on culture and well-being, we think that these risks are largely mitigated. When it comes to our timeline, we think that we can move quickly in the UK. For our first year, we'll be focusing on specifically implementing our idea. The second year, expanding on that idea. And the third year, we're going to be trying to compete for market share among the largest luxury UK skincare retailers. Beyond the 3 years, we believe that expansion into the US and UK would be beneficial, mainly because both offer high disposable incomes per capita, as well as an openness to foreign cultures. Finally, we have a few ideas for future sustainability programs, the first being a soap recycling program, which will recycle used and old soaps and limit waste. While the soap may not be of standard to Forest Essentials, we think it would be beneficial to the brand if they donate it to charities and people in need. In addition, we'll be using a local sourcing program, which will ensure that our products, our ingredients are sourced locally, limit carbon emissions, as well as provide representation to farmers. Myself and my team would also like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak today, as well as for your attention and listening. Thank you. Any questions?
So we will start with 10 minutes of questions and So the 10 minutes includes the feedback?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you want to?
Absolutely.
Okay, you did a very good job, so that was impressive, especially in one day to do all of this. So I'll ask a few questions and later I'll give you some feedback. If you were to tell me what the point of the case is, what are you trying to solve? This versus this, what are the two things you're trying to figure out?
As we understood it, Forest Essentials has a very strong domestic foundation. What they're at a crossroads to do is possibly enter a new foreign market where they have no prior establishment to an online retail presence in the UK, or stay at home where it's safe. We saw the global environment and saw that it was brewing perfectly for Forest Essentials to go and enter that market. And not only would they suffer a huge opportunity cost by staying at home, but they would be limiting themselves.
Okay, they're limiting themselves, that's true.
Mhm.
It's a good job in distilling the issue. The thing is, they're doing online for the UK currently, right?
Mhm.
You're proposing something that is so cash intensive, right? And then you went to salons, and then you went to Sephora and retail and promos, and these are different distribution channels, these are different products, different services. What is their big issue, I guess? First I'll ask, what is their big concern about expanding internationally?
I think it's choosing the right location.
No, it's not the right location. What else? What is their concern? If we just spread quickly like wildfire, what will happen to
They'll lose brand integrity and authenticity.
and quality?
Mhm.
So a lot of the expansion that you're talking about, it's hard to control quality. So can you come up with a solution to that? How would you ensure quality and integrity?
It's where our local sourcing program comes into play. Forest Essentials really bases its Ayurvedic methods on purest processes of production. Sorry, 3 Ps. And that's what we want to do with our local sourcing program, especially when you're going overseas to a place like the UK and your manufacturing needs go up. It becomes very hard to sustain what is already a very localized supply chain. So what we want to do is create that environment in the UK where we can. And luckily, we're backed by Estee Lauder, almost 50%. They are the second largest cosmetic dealer in the world. That gives us extreme financial backing. And as you mentioned Sephora is already an established partner. They have taken great interest in our products, and we really hope to do that with them. Now, there is going to be an upfront cost when it comes to brick and mortars, but being able to, the trade-off with that is being able to increase approachability, as Kenzie was saying earlier. A large problem to something that's as traditional and cultural, such as Ayurveda, is a lot of people, I myself know, a lot of people tend to see those things as exotic or different and not great. So what we are trying to do with these routes, such as salons, even though they are an investment, they welcome people through our doors. They say, come and try our products.
Good answer. I'm not sure I agree with the fact that you should locally source in the UK for something that should be authentically Indian.
And I would also say the manufacturing, if you do manufacturing in the UK as well, because then you have to teach the processes, which some very labor intensive and very kind of hard to learn. So would that also be part of it? So sourcing the ingredients locally was probably hard because they may not grow.
Yeah,
what they need
exactly.
And
Exactly.
then setting up manufacturing plants.
Yes, we would want to do that. I think that there's either we would go through transportation costs, and as we start up, we would be transporting from India. There are certain things that are core to Ayurveda that are really only available in the Indian subcontinent, and that's a given. There's no way to grow that in the UK's northern climate. But where we can, we want to source in the UK.
I guess also would want a little bit more of a social media campaign and how you would kind of grow that more. It sounds like you would use more of Sephora's squad,
Yes.
but you also want to build your own squad, right? Because you have that
course.
kind of list, the photos of all Sephora squad. I didn't see maybe any Indian person in there. So you also want to grow your own kind of like squad
Yes.
to help
Yes.
that grow. So right.
So currently, Sephora squad has a lot of traction on all of the social media platforms. There are people that have inherently a large following even before they join the Sephora squad. Forest Essentials would like to have influencers of our own. However, it is hard to find people that are trustworthy and credible. So people who have already been through Sephora's vetted process of choosing these people are things we'd like to leverage, especially with an overarching Sephora marketing partnership.
The last question I had is, what was successful in India was the B2B strategy, right? Business to business strategy. And then going into B2C strategy, did you consider B2B abroad versus that's, and also I didn't understand the number of Indians in a country, because it sounds like your strategy has nothing to do with Indians who live abroad. It's just in general a luxury market. So I wanted to understand that. The strategy seemed a bit more generic versus the actual brand. So can you talk about that one?
Yes, again, we want to stress on approachability. Now, we picked the countries with a lot of Indians because the people there will be more familiar with Indian culture, Indian people, and Indian brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so us going into the country will not seem as a big a change. For example, if we were to have a Mexican restaurant in Wyoming, it would be quite harder to market it because maybe people are not familiar. People think, oh, it's too exotic, I don't want to try it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they already understand the Indian brand, they're like, oh, it's luxury, I want to try it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already familiar with the culture and everything.
I think to expand on that Wyoming comment, it's sort of core to what really made us choose the approachability approach. I myself was grown in this, I grew up in Southern California. So Mexican culture is something that's very near and dear to my heart. It's where I grew up. And so because of that, I'm much more likely to try things like cabeza or like cow tongue or like pig feet. Like they're all things that I'm like, oh, it's just part of Mexican food. Now, if I go to Wyoming and talk to somebody who was born and raised in Wyoming, where there are not a lot of Mexican people, there's not a lot of Mexican culture, if they see something like that on a menu, they are far less likely to approach that. It is going to seem exotic, maybe a little bit odd to them, and that's the thing that we really want to make sure doesn't happen when we enter a market, especially when something that is so rooted in tradition and culture. The last thing you want is for your consumer to alienate you.
Do we have time for feedback?
And I think you four did a great job. It's kind of hard to juggle 4 different sections going back and forth. Yeah, it seemed a little bit nervous, but I think it was overall really well. I think that's processing really good.
Thank you.
I thought the same thing. You were exceptional.
Yeah.
You really were exceptional. Only thing I would work on is when you present, you have to be a single product. And because you have such different personalities, that's wonderful. But you have to make sure that you come across as just one voice. There are such differences in how you present and how you joke and how you look at people at eye contact, taking your time. When you're nervous, you speed up, especially you talk really fast. Say less, but more deliberately, and connect with the audience, because we need that emotional connect, and then we'll listen to what you're saying. Okay, but overall, the frameworks, the slides were fantastic. I would say more case competitions moving forward, maybe just try to cover a little less, because the strategy was so broad that it's almost like you're trying to do 100 things at once.
Yeah, I had to kind of rush to finish it on time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very smart.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We've loved the opportunity and the experience of being here. And we hope to see you guys again, and we'll definitely take your feedback into account.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.